design brief was to create a web scroll, single page web scroll for a client named Jambori. Actually, this project was something very new to me because it was related to UI as well. And I just did brand identity system. Designing brand narrative was something first time I was doing in my entire life. So here we were given the design brief, what all was needed to be done. We were assigned our specific design briefs, and then what we did was we went ahead and did some practice tasks just to gain some edge on how things work when it comes to brand narratives. So this was one practice task we did, how collaterals are made, what should be taken care of, and what attracts you the most about these examples. That was what we did first. So it was not like jumping directly into the project. We were also given some warm-up exercises so that, you can get comfortable with what you're doing. So that's a very good thing, picking up a portfolio project. Then we came on to our project. Then the mentor who was with us, she guided us on how to prepare a user persona. So we made a lot of iterations, and best thing about and here when while working on portfolio project is that mentors give time to every individual student so that we can, personalize feedbacks, because every student stands at a different journey while going through their projects. Here we prepare the user persona, what points, what pain points, and what values and goals are required while designing the brand narrative. So here we created that, and then after that we went ahead and did a lot of iterations here. This was all the research work. What is the emotional pain point, functional pain point? These are all were explained to us properly by our mentor. And then here were the messy ideations, the 3-act structure we used, brand narrative, what we will take forward. So these were the iterations we did, and it was not 1 or 2 iterations. From the very beginning, we have been motivated and encouraged to make more and more, so that the project comes out to be very fine-tuned. So these were the ideas, 8 ideas we created on how, and then we selected a few which can go for the next level. So it was like refining everything again and again. My user persona was more about, the user persona that I took up was a guy who was very tech enthusiastic and who was looking for something, who was looking for people he can collaborate with. So here, finally, I selected these 2 user personas where Pratik was a tech enthusiast and he wanted. So Jambori, first I'll explain what is Jambori. So Jambori was an event where students from different design backgrounds were showcasing their noteworthy projects, and we wanted them to buy those to come and attend that event so that they can see what new projects they are talking about. We wanted people from the background. My idea here was that students can get a chance to present their project, as well as they can be hired as well, or they can collaborate with new investors, and people can also come and find new talent that they can work with. So here I chose a brand narrative where it said Jambori Spotlight, where skill shine and collaboration begins. So that was the brand narrative that I used to create my project. What kind of archetype my project fit into, like we were explained the 12 kinds of archetypes that were there, and then we were asked to choose which one suits the best. So my archetype was sage. What qualities, and it was not why you have chosen it, you have to explain that as well, the reason behind why choosing this archetype. So that was really important, that every decision that we took, we had to explain that as well, why we have taken that, so that we can have a better understanding of what we were doing. Every archetype has a specific design system, so we had to keep in mind while designing our project for that. Then we actually went ahead, and for inspiration we came across a lot of websites which also had the same kind of archetype. And then we made this template where we streamlined what things we had to make for our website as well. So this was all the elements that a website should have, and what all other websites had, which were good enough to be, so that we can include it in our website as well. Then here came the copywriting process, which was a really long process, and what should be included in our web page scroll. Here we were also taught about using AI, how we can use. Our mentor also explained us what prompt to use, how you can make it easier for you to work with AI. The data we collected, and then came, after this all the research work, what all to put, then came the visual stuff. Here we collected all the illustrations or all the images. It was kind of a mood board, the preparation of our visual aspect of our web page scroll. Everything that we collected, all kinds of web pages, all kinds of illustrations, what can be used, how the layout will look. This is something what we did. And then we went ahead and did our messy ideation space. Good thing about all the projects that we did here was we were taught how to, start designing. I mean, the steps one needs to follow. And that is very important when it comes to designing, and how not to skip one step, how to use all the steps to complete your design so that your design looks really meaningful and it fulfills the objective for which it is being made. So here it was the messy ideation space where everything will go on the left side, on the right side, which font to use, and do you want your web page to be centrally aligned, where the illustration will be put, so and where the logo should be placed for better eye movement. After selecting few, we came to adding all elements together and seeing how they're looking. These were the ideations we did, the digital ideations. Final web page where I have created a scroll. This is the final scroll that we did. So since my archetype was Sage, and Sage has a very minimalistic kind of a feel. So that is what I did here. I chose a font which is very elegant and at the same time which looks very professional as well, because I'm not talking about something which is very trendy or quirky. This was a Jambori event which was related to academic. I wanted that to be highlighted here. So that's the font I used. Now, for the page, if you can see, it looks like a perspective room page. The event was about students presenting their projects. Usually, it happens in auditorium or a big classroom or something like that feel. So I chose a perspective drawing where I can give that room feel or an auditorium feel, like there is a hall. So that's the kind of thing I wanted for my landing page. For the CTA button, I wanted it to be highlighted in the entire page so that the user can directly go and click and they shouldn't have a problem while buying the tickets. I explained what kind of the event is about and why one should attend it, features and benefits of the event. For the illustration, I chose something because we were connecting globally. It was a webinar thing. So I needed it to be highlighted somewhere. So I chose a computer and an illustration which can, show that this is a webinar event. We talked about what kind of speakers are going to be there and they're explaining their project so that anyone who comes to our page knows what is actually happening. And then this was a frequently asked question page. Again, there was a need for a CTA button so that if someone comes down, they can also find it here as well. Then I designed the footer. This was by IIAD, so logo and how one can be updated. So I tried to keep everything concise, but at the same time available for the users.